Well, hey YouTube, continuing the project here. Got the frame completely stripped down. Still need to take off the front and the rear bumper and the pitman arm there, or the idler for the pitman arm. Most everything came out pretty good, pretty easy. As you know, the little bracket, I guess you would call them bolt/screws that go through the frame, that hold the leaf spring in the front points here and here, and then also back there in the very back. Those actually screw into the frame and on the little U bracket. And I got all of them off with the exception of this one. It's rusted into the frame, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. I was able to cut it, got a grinding wheel and just cut it right in half. And then of course the leaf spring came right down. And then the front rotating bolts, they're real easy, just 3/4 with the bolt on it and a greaser. They came right out. I've got the leaf spring still attached for that reason to the bell housing, or to the differentials front and rear. Those came out really easy, you know, just basically if you have 4 floor jacks, it makes it real easy. 2 under the pumpkin, or you know, the cross axles, and then 2 on the frame. And then as you remove the leaf spring brackets, you just lower it down on the jack, and then you can lift it up. I've got these little rolly carts here that are normally for a car. You know, you put the wheels on it and you can spin it around your garage. I put the axles on them, just make it easier to roll them around. I've got the transmission and transfer case on a cart, just a furniture dolly over there. And then as you can see, the shocks were just, well, they're done. They're definitely gonna need new shocks. The little rubber bushings just basically disintegrated in those housings, so a lot of play in them. And when I took them off, those little rubber bushings just basically came right out. All the steering components are in there with the exception of the oil cleaner housing, and there is the front drive axle. And then back here, like I said, I've still got to get off that rear bumper. I may just leave that on and see if I can't strip it out, or strip it off with the wire brush and the wire wheel. Those bolts that hold it on are completely rusted, and as you know, all the water and the grit and everything hit up behind here. So the plan is, now that I've got the frame all the way stripped down bare, I'm going to get after this with the scraper and a wire wheel and a wire brush and polish it up. Like I showed you in the earlier video, here's where I kind of did the wire brush and the scraper. Right about in this area. Oh, sorry, right here. So you can see how smooth that's going to come out. There will be a little bit of pitting. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get all of that stuff out there. I mean, that's just 75 years worth of corrosion. But I think if we can get it wired down pretty good and get all of that, whatever that bed liner stuff off of there, then we'll flip it over, do the other side, the underneath, take a look at those little rubber, what are those called? Those bumpers. And take a look at those, see if they're still good. Might need to replace. They just unbolt, right? There's 2 bolts in the front and 2 bolts in the rear, or one bolt in the front, 1 in the rear on each one of them. So they'll come off real easy, but the plan is just flip it over and do the underneath and then degrease it. And then I'm thinking about using some Seal primer. Basically it's a rust, I can't think of the word. It's basically it seals the rust and also converts it into what's not rust, and it also primes. And then we'll just come over it and we'll put some really good decent paint on there. I've been looking at a lot of really good reviews on the Ace Rust Preventative Enamel that comes in a spray can. A lot of people are using that on these restores. Also PR15, and then Eastwood makes a really good product and it's actually 2-part. Basically, you put the rust seal / primer, or rust converter / primer on it, and then you come back with some enamel. It's about the same price as doing it, Seal, and then also the just the black primer, rattle can. That Ace stuff, that stuff you get at Ace Hardware, it's a rust enamel. not the latex, you want to get the enamel. But if you've got a good bed of a primer and you've got really good metal prep, that stuff will last like 10 to 20 years. And I'm thinking really close about using that. I'm going to get with the owner and find out if that's what, and in fact, he would like to use, or if he'd like to spend a little bit more and get the Eastwood product and go from there. So more to come. Next up, like I said, is just a frame. I'm going to get that up on some sawhorses, so it's about, you know, waist high, so I'm not leaning over or, you know, in a chair trying to do all the wire brushing and everything like that. But go ahead and get the frame done, flip it over, do the other side of the frame, prep it, seal it, prime it, and then basically installation will be reversed. So once the frame's ready to go, then we'll do the leaf springs. I'll get the leaf springs off the front and rear axles there. Do those, go ahead and install them in their rotating pivots, and then get into the differentials themselves, install them, and then get into the transfer case and the transmission, and get that mounted right back on the frame. And then we'll do the engine. So things are coming along quickly. So I think if I do it the way that I've just described, I think that, you know, the majority of the wait time will be on the engine if we need to wait on the machine shop, or if it's just needing a freshen up, might be able to use a bottle brush in there, a bottle hone, and some honing oil, and just get the good crosshatch in there, re-ring it, replace the bearings and everything, get that all freshened up, and then put the new water pump on it, and anywhere it needs new bearings, do that. Throw a really nice coat of enamel on there, ceramic, and then that'll be ready to go back into the frame. And then it's just a matter of getting the brake lines in, the let's see, the shocks, obviously, the brake lines, just the ancillary things, the front steering linkages and pivot points, and obviously those are going to be replaced with new or new old stock. And then we'll be ready for the body at the very end, and put the tub back on, and hopefully by that time it'll have a really good paint job. Still searching around for a good body shop in the area. I've only been at this for about a week, maybe a week and 2 days, so about 9 days total for disassembly. And I've only been out here about 2, maybe 3 hours a day doing this. Reason being, like I said, I've got to recoup, and I've got to make sure I don't overexert myself and damage my back or knees or anything more than it's already is. So that'll be it for today. It is Sunday the 9th of August, and as we progress, as I get this frame stripped down, I'll give you another detailed photo on that, or video. What it looks like when it's all wire brushed down, and then what it looks like whenever we put the primer and the rust inhibitor on, and then what it looks like after we throw the paint on the frame, and we'll go from there. So have a good afternoon, and stay safe out there. Thank you.